At the start of the movie, we are introduced to a woman called Emma. Emma is a skilled assassin and a caring mother. She is seen arriving at the airport from a trip. She gets home and is met by her family, daughter Caroline, son Wyatt, and husband Dave. The family prepares for her arrival so they can celebrate their marriage anniversary, but she forgets. The next day, Emma prepares breakfast for the family while talking to someone on the phone. The guy on the phone, Raj, reveals to her that her picture popped up on dark web's most wanted list, but he scrapped it on time. He proposes another job to her, saying it involves a lot of money. Emma says she can't do it because she just got home. She feels bad about forgetting their anniversary earlier and complains to her husband. Dave brings out the anniversary present he prepared for Emma, but hides it after a second thought. Emma, who has already seen it, asks about it. The gift is a sexy nurse lingerie. Dave wants to spice things up, so Emma proposes something different. She suggests they go to a fancy hotel and role play as two strangers meeting for the first time by chance at a bar. The next day, Emma, looking all different with a brunette wig, goes to a fancy hotel. She enters a bar and sits at the counter, waiting for her husband. Meanwhile, Dave is stuck in traffic. Emma receives a drink from an elderly man called Bob. He approaches her and begins a little conversation with her. He asks about her profession, and she says she is into finance. He also reveals that she looks exceptionally familiar. Dave finally arrives and sees them talking, so he takes a different seat. Bob leaves, and Dave approaches Emma, and the role play begins. Bob returns and engages both of them in conversation. He proposes they take a shot, and they do. After the moment at the bar, they go to a hotel room with Dave quite drunk. Emma tells Dave to undress and get comfortable on the bed, and she will be right back. Dave does that and lies on the bed waiting. Emma returns to find Dave asleep. She writes something on a paper and heads out. She ends up in Bob's room. Bob is an independent contract killer, just like her. He was in town for business and did not expect to come across a familiar face. Emma had a bounty on her name, and Bob recognized her. To be completely sure, he rechecked the picture of Emma, and it was a perfect match. The bounty was set by an association called the Sovereign, and they wanted Emma alive. Emma used to work for the Sovereign, and they were searching for her after she chose to go off-grid. Bob was ready to cut a deal with Emma as an alternative, and he demanded a 60% commission on her future assignments. He eventually agreed to come down to 40%, but it was still not within Emma's budget, as she was giving 30% commissions to her handler, who was supposed to protect her from the Sovereign. She asked him to go ahead and make the call to the Sovereign. Emma explained that she had poisoned Bob's drink when they were at the bar, at the time he proposed the shot. The only reason Emma met Bob in his room was to make sure that he did not call the Sovereign. At that moment, Emma got a call from Dave asking for her whereabouts, and while talking, Bob tried to shoot her, but she managed to put him down and leaves. The next day, Emma texts Raj, and he calls back. She reveals to him that she has been exposed but has taken care of it. She also adds that Raj should expect to see her soon. While on the phone, Dave also receives a call from his sister, who sends him a link to look at. It is an article about a murder at the hotel they booked the previous day. Dave is surprised to learn that the man they met at the bar was murdered. The article tags Dave and Emma as persons of interest in the case because they were seen talking to Bob, and it was captured on CCTV. Emma knew she had to escape before it was too late. She lied about another work meeting and ended up traveling to Berlin to meet her handler. Emma had said that she was going to Boise for a meeting and would be back within a day, but never shows up at the airport when Dave goes to pick her up. Dave calls her numerous times, but his calls go unanswered. While returning home, he is picked up by the police for interrogation. He tries to prove his innocence in the most genuine way, but to his surprise, he realizes that the detectives are suggesting something else. Special Agent Gwen Carver joins the meeting to discuss Emma's case. Dave is surprised to learn that the woman he was married to is not named Emma Rayburn. She had stolen the identity of a deceased woman by that name, and for the last 7 years, she had been living a false life. Dave is shown pictures of his wife arriving at Buenos Aires airport last week. Dave argues that his wife was in Nebraska at that time. Dave learns the true identity of the man he met at the hotel bar, a contract killer named Derek Worley. He is shocked to learn that Raj was not his wife's supervisor, but her dealer, who operated on the dark web. Dave discovers that Emma's real name is Anna Peller, and she is a wanted criminal. Dave bursts out laughing at the information he has received. Dave returns home and conducts a search of the house. His search leads him to find a secret suitcase. The suitcase is filled with fake passports, wigs, and ammunition. Someone knocks at the door, and Dave goes to check. It is Agent Carver and her associate. They ask to talk to Dave in the house. They try to win Dave over to their side, but he never gives in. She requests that Dave allow them to search the house, but Dave asks for their warrant. At that same time, Emma has arrived at her destination and is picked up by Raj. On the way, Emma finds out they are being followed by another car, so she asks Raj to pull over. Carver then receives a text that they have found Emma's location, so they decide to leave. Raj pulls over and Emma gets out. They follow her and try to catch her, but she takes them down one after the other. Raj meets her on the other side, and she gets in. A shootout ensues, and Raj is shot. Meanwhile, Dave, frustrated at home, begins dialing every number he found in the several visiting cards she had kept hidden, and surprisingly, one connects. Emma receives the call, and he figures out that she is in Berlin. He wants to discuss the matter in person, so he tells her that he will come to Berlin because they are in this together. Dave is picked up at the airport, and he finally reunites with his wife in a bar. Emma admits that her real name is Anna, and she was trained to become a killer. Her father, who was a Secret Service agent, started his own private security company called Sovereign with Agent Gwen Carver. She was trained and introduced to violence by Carver. She met Dave during a job in Boston, and from that day on, all she wanted was a normal life. She gives Dave an envelope containing Canadian passports so her family can start their lives afresh. Emma decides that she will no longer work as a contract killer as soon as she safely escapes the threat of the Sovereign. Even after finding out everything about his wife, Dave loves her and wants to be with her. As Emma and Dave have an honest conversation, members of the Sovereign surround them. They fight them off, but are overpowered and drugged. Emma wakes up in an unknown room. She goes out and finds out they are in the woods. She hears the voices of kids and discovers that it is not only her and Dave that Carver kidnapped, but also her children. Carver talks to Emma and desperately asks her to join Sovereign once again, promising to never harm her children. Carver believes Anna owes her life to her since she was the one who looked after her. She gives Emma a gun and instructs her to kill Dave, or else she will lose her children. Dave is presented before Anna, tied up. As the two walk into the woods together, she reveals that they have their kids. Dave freaks out after hearing the news, but she asks him to calm down because there is a sniper nearby watching and ready to shoot. Anna has a plan in mind, so she asks Dave to hold her, and he does. She then shoots him, and he falls to the ground. A Sovereign member comes in with a body bag to check the kill. As she packs Dave's body, Emma attacks her precisely when the sniper no longer has access to them and kills her, leaving her next to Dave's body. Moments later, Dave wakes up and finds the body next to him. Emma had shot him where it would cause the least damage, and he would survive. The sniper tries to find Emma with a scope, but is also killed by her. Emma comes back for her husband, and they set off to the main house. One by one, she takes down all the guards. She gives Dave a gun and asks him to go for the kids. Emma shoots Carver's associate in the chest, but she is protected by her bulletproof vest. She enters the house through the roof, and a fight erupts between her and Carver's associate. After quite a struggle, Emma is able to triumph over Jai and kills her. Dave also gets to where the kids are and manages to shoot the guard, making him unconscious. The kids happily run to him, and they sit to talk. Emma then goes after Carver, who has escaped through the woods. They exchange bullets, and Emma ends up shooting her when she least expects it. As Carver bleeds to death, she asks Emma to shoot and finish her, but Emma denies her request. She leaves her to die and walks away to find her family. She reunites with her family, and they leave the premises of the Sovereign. The movie ends with the family driving through the woods to their new secure destination. Thank you for watching.